So we're in the front of the house. This is the water meter test. And we're about halfway through the inspection. This is before the swimming pool inspection. But before we get started and before I forget, the swimming pool drain, the drain for the main drain for the swimming pool, I cannot find a vacuum breaker for it. Cannot find a vacuum breaker for it. In fact, I can't find cleanouts for the water system, which we're about to address. So here we are, we're in the front yard, the front curve. Okay. Analog equipment. See the little triangle right in there? That's called a flow indicator. Some people call it a cheater wheel, cheater paddle, call it what you will. But it's very sensitive. If that's moving, water's moving. If that's moving, you have a water leak. On the freshwater side. Not a drain leak, but a water supply leak. So we'll find out what it is. Is your lawn sprinkler leaking? A lot of times it is. Is it your commode flapper? We don't know. Is it in the wall? We don't know that either. I cannot find a main shutoff valve to the house. Cannot locate a main shutoff valve, so I'm supposing this is what is going to be used as the main shutoff valve. I'm calling it a deficiency that you don't have one, but if you need to shut the water off to the house, it would be this valve right here, much like the gas valve. And if it's parallel with the line, it's on. If it's perpendicular to the line, it's off. See these little ears with the holes in them, so you can put a padlock in there if you don't pay your bill. Okay, you line those two holes up and you've turned the water off to the house. Moving on along. This is the check valve to the lawn sprinkler system. Check valve to the lawn sprinkler system. It's buried. You're supposed to have 3 inches around it so you can wrap your hand. This box should be excavated and lined with gravel so dirt doesn't come in and fill it up like that. These are called isolation valves so that you can work on the valve. It may be a single check for all we know. Maybe it's a double check. We don't know because it hasn't been excavated. See the handle's missing? You're not going to be able to isolate that one very well. A pair of pliers maybe. And then you should have, and that's if it was installed today. When this was installed, you didn't have to have a main shutoff to the check valve. All you needed was the isolation valves. But today you'd have a shutoff valve. So you don't have a shutoff valve. We got the missing handle, we got the buried valves, and that's what we got. Coming on along. I cannot find a main water shutoff valve. Maybe it's in all this mulch. I cannot find cleanout valves. Maybe it's in this mulch. I mean cleanout, sewer cleanouts. Now one thing that I'm pretty sure about that this mulch wouldn't be able to hide, one thing I'm pretty sure about is that it wouldn't hide a vacuum breaker for the swimming pool. Where is that? Inquiring minds want to know. Fountains are beyond the scope of this inspection. It's a water feature. Whatever. It's kind of nice. It's romantic. I get that. I'm coming along here. Let's just try this for a moment. Get some peace and quiet. That's not GFCI protected. Look at all the tape on this. It's not supposed to be like that. It's just not. So yeah, it's a feature. It's beyond the scope of what I'm talking about. Lawn sprinkler heads. See how close that is to the wall? They're not supposed to be farther than, they're not supposed to be closer than 12 inches to the wall. They're just not. I'm coming on along here. I'm looking for between 40 and 80 psi. We got a leaky valve. We got a leaky stem. How about that? And we're looking at about 40 psi. You might get a couple more psi if that wasn't leaking, but I doubt it. That's usually not the case. So 40 psi, that's minimum. That's minimum. That's all that code requires. It's not a deficiency. 40 psi. This guy's kind of messed up. Okay. We cannot find a service valve. The stem's leaking here. We cannot find a main shutoff valve. We cannot find main cleanout, sewer cleanouts. We cannot find the swimming pool, and this one will not be in the swimming pool section. We cannot find the swimming pool vacuum breaker. I didn't leave that out on purpose. It was an accident. So when you get to the swimming pool, just think about the vacuum breaker. Lawn sprinkler system. Check valve's buried. Handle's missing. Doesn't have a main shutoff valve. I wouldn't. Again, it wasn't required. It's going to be grandfathered in. I get that.